This video is called How to Give a Perfect Reading, or How to Do the Perfect Reading. And it's quite straightforward. So what I'm going to do is I need to tell you a joke and then a couple of other things, and then later on we'll look at actual cards. And at this point, you may know that I finished the study course, and if you go to thetarot.ca, you'll find details there. And I'm happy because I've got a video on every card now and some other supplementary information. And it means that I can be comfortable talking about doing readings rather than feeling that I should be doing something on each individual card. And so I need to tell you this joke. And so I'm going to say that, did you know that Rangers have got a new strip? And you say, no, what is it? And I say, white with a red neck. And that's completely funny and really clever. And you get the joke if you followed football in Scotland in the 1960s. And I can bet that nobody watching this video has any idea what that joke was about. And I'd like to explain it a little bit. The thing is, Rangers is the name of a Scottish football team in Glasgow, and they were one of the two dominant teams for the whole, for 100 years. And in the 1960s they were doing badly, they kept losing games, and their rivals, Celtic, were doing much better. So the solution was to get a new coach, a new manager, and they hired a fellow called Davy White, right, who turned out to be not very good, and so their results didn't improve that much. Okay, so a strip is the word for the uniform that the different teams wear, and Rangers traditionally wear blue. So they have a blue uniform, a blue strip. And if you're embarrassed about something, I'm sure we've all been embarrassed about something and our cheeks turn red. You get flushed cheeks. But you can also get a situation where if you're embarrassed about something, the back of your neck turns red, right? So, Rangers have got a new strip. White, Davy White, with a red neck. He's embarrassed. So, that, I think, is what a lot of tarot readings are like. And I think what a lot of tarot readings ought not to be like. Because the reader has something to say and says it, but the questioner may not understand, or may not understand completely, or may misunderstand. And if the reader then has to explain stuff to the questioner, what's being said loses its impact. It's hard for the questioner to remember stuff. And they end up dissatisfied or not happy in some way, I think. I don't know, there's a lot of readings going on that I know nothing about, and maybe this is only going to apply to some of them. But it's a bit like you shouldn't have to explain to people. And so I'm thinking, okay, if I can move that piece of paper, that is you, the reader, right? The little dot on the card. And this is your whole past and all your understanding, all your experience. And this is the questioner. And that's all the questioner's experiences in life up to that point, and their understanding, good things, the bad things, and all the rest of it. And so if you look at a card and you've got this bit of information here, and I'm going to draw it like that, a little kind of oval with bars across it, okay? Just checking that that's going to show. Okay, let's say that's you, and it's stuff that you know about, right? And so you look at the card and you start talking from this position, from here, from that piece of knowledge or that type of understanding. And so maybe it's specialized in its own way. Some people like Carl Jung and start talking about archetypes, and other people have got a favorite author or a self-help person. Maybe it's Anthony Robbins or somebody like that, and they start talking Anthony Robbins at somebody. So if the questioner, however, doesn't have that, maybe they've got something similar. They've got the oval, but they haven't got the bars across it. So the reader's talking, right? And they're doing all this, and the questioner is hearing it, but maybe misunderstanding it or not understanding it correctly. And I was thinking of algebra. So I'm speaking English, and I'm sure you all understand the English or the Western alphabet. So if I say, okay, with algebra, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? You probably all recognize that, but let's say you hear A and B and C, so you can kind of understand it. But maybe you don't understand the squared bit or the plus bit. So that, I think, is what happens. So readers explain from their position and from their point of view, and it makes sense to the reader. But the point is, to do the perfect reading, you have to talk to people in language they can understand. And that can be done. Because the thing is, a squared, I may think, okay, a squared, b squared, c squared, maybe I'm supposed to draw an A in a square shape. Maybe that's A and this is B, one square on top of another. And maybe that's C, right? So that's a squared, b squared. Is that what you mean by a squared? And it isn't. But that's the kind of thing that happens. You the reader, say something you think is quite obvious or straightforward. But people don't always hear and understand what you mean. But let's say that's you, and that's the questioner. What you've got in common is the card. Okay? And I think what you have to do the perfect reading is look at the card and use it, because you're looking at the card and the questioner's looking at the card and you're seeing the same thing. And if you describe and explain what's on the card, you're going to be on track and you're going to be accurate in what you talk about. And so a couple of days ago I listened to this a radio call-in show, and a woman wanted to know, one of the questions that I heard was, the woman wanted to know, how can she have a better relationship or better communication with the father of her daughter? So there was a child making noises in the background, so maybe like 8 months old, that kind of age. So there was a baby, and presumably the mother was holding the baby and talking about the baby's father. And so the reader said, okay, I'm going to choose a couple of cards. One for you. This is a card for you, the questioner, and this is one for the husband or the baby's father. And she turned over the card and said, okay, Nine of Pentacles is you. And so she started talking about this means that you're poised and you're confident, and when you communicate with him, you should be balanced and be harmonious and so on. And I'm thinking, okay, this card is supposed to describe the questioner, but it wasn't determined or wasn't stated beforehand. Is this what the questioner is doing well? Or is it telling us what she's doing badly? Because it may be that the Nine of Pentacles, maybe this is telling you what she's doing badly, because there's a woman standing, or some person standing alone in a nice country garden with coins around her. So is it that the woman is only thinking about money? And this is the reason that there's a lack of communication between her and the father of the daughter. So we don't know. Or it's not clear, it wasn't specified. Is this a good card, or is it telling you what she's doing well or what she's doing badly? Because it may be that coins represents values, so it may be that the woman, doesn't know clearly what she wants, what she cares about. So she's confused about what she cares about. She's not going to be able to have as good communication with the father of the daughter. So we don't know whether this is this what she should start doing? Be confident, be poised, or is this what she should stop doing? You're too aloof, you're too separated, there's a barrier, there's a hedge there. The fellow feels that he's not making a connection with you, even though he's the father of the child. So, by taking one card and looking and not having an idea of what question it's trying to answer, or what information you're meant to get from it, you're really struggling, I think, to know what to say. So, on its own, I think we don't know what this card means. But the other card for the man for the father of the child was the 5 of swords upside down.